Now, in this video, I'm going to give you the fisherman's take of artificial intelligence. Now, I know this is way out in left field, so just bear with me. Now, the idea for this video actually started when I did something that I shouldn't have done. After a fishing trip, I went to a fast food restaurant to order some food, and in the drive-thru, I was greeted by an AI order taker. So while I was there, I tried to make the most difficult order possible, and the AI got the order correct. I was amazed. I was like, wow, this was, it was able to get me the order that I had made. Now, there is also another reason why I decided to make this video. The social media person, possibly the owner of Catfish Clothing with a K, they've been posting about how like on Facebook, they've been posting about how, people will be able to show their personal best fish without leaving their desk. They'll be able to just to go, go onto an AI and ask for it to, have 100-pound catfish, show them holding 100-pound catfish, and they will paste it on Facebook or wherever and say that they're now part of the 100-pounder club. And he's posted some really interesting pictures, especially the one I remember the most is the striper picture, striped bass, which I have a bigger reason why I'm actually, picking that as well, but I'll talk about that later. But it showed two pictures of people holding big striped bass, and he asked which one was AI. You could not tell the difference. One was made by AI, one was not made by AI. It was an actual picture. And when he was posting it, I did a reply saying I've been thinking about doing a video, which is where we are right now. And AI is there's a lot more going on than some realize with AI. And they replied saying that it's a video that needs to be done. So here's the video. Now I will say that I'm not, in any kind of partnership with Catfish Clothing. However, I would definitely recommend them. They are an American business. And they've been around for a while. I've talked to the owner a couple of times. He's a good guy, so go check them out. Now, artificial intelligence, AI, has not been around for only the last few years. Right now, it is a sales pitch. That's all artificial intelligence is right now, is a sales pitch. In my humble opinion, artificial intelligence is not artificial intelligence. To me, true artificial intelligence is something that is sentient. It is something that can think for itself. And I'm talking like Data from Star Trek. I'm talking about the Cylons from Battlestar Galactica. I'm talking about Skynet. That is true artificial intelligence that's making decisions for itself. What we do have right now is what I'm going to call programmed intelligence, because that is why Grok, has a bias and ChatGPT has a different bias, because people are programming these systems. So all it is programmed intelligence. It's not actual, real artificial intelligence. Like I said, it's just a sales pitch. And because it's a sales pitch, I'm going to add my own little flavor to this, because this programmed intelligence is also robotics. It is computers, which means artificial intelligence has been around, at least the programmed intelligence part, for 50 or more years. Whenever a computer was created, was invented, shortly after, that's when artificial intelligence actually started. And that's also when it started taking our jobs. The car industry is a good example. You know, when cars were first being built, he needed 1,000 welders. I mean, I don't know exact numbers, but I'm going to, some of this I'm going to make up. But the 1,000 welders per car factory got replaced by robots that are now welding all of our cars together. So all these high paying specialized jobs vanished overnight. And I could take a bet that was part of Detroit's decline was automation, was, you know, the robots and everything. They need less and less and less people, you know, working building cars. Now there's more robots than there are humans putting cars together. And that's not obviously where it, you know, where it stopped. It's taken over other, you know, other industries. Manufacturing, I know manufacturing has left the United States and we're trying to get it back. Now, if this was 100 years ago and we were bringing manufacturing back, we would need 100,000 people to do the jobs. But now we're bringing this industry back. It's not going to create the amount of jobs that we think it's going to create. We're going to need thousands of jobs instead of 100,000 jobs. And over time, with the innovation of America, because we do a lot of innovation here in America, our kids, they're not going to want to work at a manufacturing job. There's going to be some smart kids out there that are going to replace more and more jobs with robots. I worked at a manufacturing job for a little while, and I don't ever really want to do that again. I had lawnmower parts, plastic lawnmower parts, flying at me at like 100 miles per hour, and I had to go and I had to look at it and stack it. And if it was bad, I had to throw it into the granulator. So it's stack, 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 throw in the granulator, stack, 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 throw in the granulator. That was one really hard work that I didn't like to do. You know, I'd rather, I don't know, I'd rather fish, obviously, but that job now could easily be taken over by a robot. They scan it real quick, and it's faster than my own eyes. I mean, the computers are faster than we can react. So they can see if there's an inconsistency and toss it quicker than the human easily, and they don't tire. No breaks needed. No arguing with the supervisor because you know put a bit too many pieces of plastic into the granulator before hitting the button. A few different human problems eliminated completely with a robot. And now this does not stop in manufacturing. In fact, where did all those where did those humans go? Where are they working now? You know, we had hundreds of thousands of people working in manufacturing. Now we don't. Where did they go? Call centers. That's right. Young America, there's a lot of people in call centers now. I was in a call center about 15 years ago, and we had 900 employees. And we were just one call center out of hundreds in our area that probably had the same amount of people at each call center. And even back then, 15 years ago, we were testing a AI, I'll call it an AI, that basically it listened to the call when you were talking with a customer and it would write your notes for you. And this was 15 years ago. Now, AI is going to start taking over call center jobs. Your call somewhere and you won't even know that you're not talking to a human being. That means that 900 people at that call center would be replaced with 900 AI robots. Now, I know some people will say, well, those 900 people, all they need to do is learn programming and become programmers, and that's how they can continue on and do better and have jobs. Well, there's only going to need, that 900 people in a call center, 900 robots now. It's only going to need maybe 5 to 10 programmers to keep that going, more or less. And it'll probably be over multiple call centers. So now you have 900 people trained as programmers fighting over 5 jobs. So that is kind of the problems that we're going to start running into, with AI. Now, this has taken a long time. Even when I was in high school, they were talking about how robots are going to take over everything and we're not going to have jobs. Right now, there are plenty of jobs out there to work. But over time, I do believe it's going to happen to where, we're going to have unemployment start going up and up and up because we have artificial intelligence taking over for everything. And, this is where it would kind of get political. I don't like going political, but I know, for one side, you want people working. I know there's some of you that want me to actually get a real job and stop talking to a camera. And, that's one thinking. We want humans to have jobs, we want them to work. And that side would probably try their best to regulate AI as much as possible to not lose, humans working. But then you got the flip side where you have people that they want these robots to take over so we can have a better life somehow. And, at this moment in time, not having a job is not, is not having a better life pretty much at this point in time because we do live in a work to make money society. And if AI starts taking over all of our work, then there's no way for us to make money. So that's the two sides. One side thinks it's a good thing. One side is probably going to think it's a bad thing. And there is a third side, and it's the side that we hope does not happen, and it's the obvious Skynet side. We don't want the AI to actually turn against us. And from what I've seen, and I actually I use both ChatGPT and Grok to do titles and descriptions to my videos, and I have or at least try to have some kind of conversation with them. And it seems right now this programmed intelligence has no intent on doing anything bad to humanity. And even when every time it publishes stuff, it's always, especially Grok, it's always overboardly positive per se. Which, is like epic adventure catching bluegill and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's a little bit overboard for a description, but it's also, positive wording. This is the SEO stuff or whatever. I always get into arguments with them over, going overboard with my descriptions and stuff. And sometimes I let it happen. A lot of times I try to get them to tone it down when I'm, working with these, but it is helpful at least because, my grammar and my writing is not the best in the world at all. So it helps a lot to just, I write out what I think, what happened with the video. I do whatever happened to the video, give it to them, ask for a description, ask for tags, ask for a title. And then I go from there. I read it, and then I ask for revisions if needed. So at least for me, it's been a good thing. Now, the AI with like pictures and videos have obviously been taken over on, YouTube, like the Bigfoot stuff. And that is pretty hilarious. But it goes to show that, if you can learn to give a proper prompt to an AI to spit out a video, you can make some probably halfway decent YouTube content without even having to talk to the camera. And yes, I am an actual human being right here. I'm not AI generated. I'm not AI generating my videos yet. And I do have my own idea for a new YouTube channel using AI to generate a kind of a fantasy universe. It's just something that I wrote it's probably been 20 years now. It's been a long time. I've got like an entire universe that I've written down, but I haven't committed to it yet. I think it's called Vero or whatever that new AI is that's making the Bigfoot videos and stuff. would be perfect for me to make videos from, but it's also like $300 a month, and at this moment in time, I'm not willing to pay that. Although that channel might do good, it might not. I don't know. I don't know how many people would be interested in like a fantasy universe that's built. It's actually built on an old game, but that old game was built on like this single one world, and that was it. And that game actually it's gone now. Technically, it's not gone. It's in China now, but okay. So I'll say the name of it. It's called Shadowbane. It was one of the worst but best games ever in the past. And it crashed, it had bugs, but it had really cool lore, and I just expanded on that lore from the one world to an actual like universe. And it'd be really cool if I could put my ideas into actual like animated videos. But like I said, I'm not willing to pay $300 a month or more for AI access to try that, because for obvious reasons, I was talking earlier, I don't have an actual full-time job. All I have now is my guide service and YouTube, with you guys following me and hopefully subscribing to my channel and watching my videos. Now, I did make this picture with Grok, and I just did it in like a few seconds. I asked it to make a flathead catfish chase a bluegill, and as you can see, it's not really chasing a bluegill, and they're floating above the water. They're not actually in the water. So, the free AI is definitely not perfect. However, the paid AI is getting better and better and better. And it's just one of these big corporate companies that want to make as much money as possible. They're going to start eliminating humans for AI robots in one form or another. So it's just something, it may not happen in our lifetime. It has been slow. Like I said, since I was even in high school, there's been talk about robots taking over our jobs, and they still haven't taken over all of our jobs, but it has been a slow increase. And if we ever have, what is that called? The convergence? Or, I don't know, I can't remember what it's called. But it's whenever AI actually becomes sentient, if it can become sentient, like, Data, Cylon, Skynet, and it doesn't decide to be like Skynet, prepare for all jobs to be taken, even a fishing guide. I mean, sure, it's like, let me know in the comments below. Would you book a trip with a robot that wants to take you fishing? And I could see where one robot would probably book a trip with a human to go fishing, and then they're either becoming, a guide themselves, or they might actually book a trip with another robot. Just imagine the crazy possibilities. So that means even me as a fishing guide, it's possible that I could get replaced by artificial intelligent robots that are willing to take people fishing. And if that robot has its humor setting to like 95%, it will be a fun trip. Now, I know this video was really, really off topic from fishing. I do want to hear your own thoughts about, artificial intelligence, and let me know if I'm actually wrong about any of this, because, I'm not perfect. Obviously, I'm not a robot, I'm not AI, so I may have missed something. I may have forgot to talk about something when it comes to artificial intelligence. So just, leave a comment below. And as always, I want to thank you for taking your time out of your day to actually watch this oddball video. I really, really appreciate it. Now, I do want to do more videos like this. I just have to figure out what I want to talk about. I did say in a previous video that I might make a video about how I'd rather be a YouTuber than a fishing guide. And I will state, I don't know if I stated it in that video or not or whatever, but, I like being a fishing guide, but I like taking the people out and having hands-on, with fishing and stuff, but it's just, there are certain expectations when it comes to a fishing guide. You know, I have to be there on time, obviously, and keep, you know, keep it as professional as possible, this, that, the other. Which is, I do that with YouTube as well, but like with YouTube, I don't have to be there on time. All I have to do is film whenever I go fishing. It's a little bit more relaxed when it comes to YouTube than it is on fishing trips. And thankfully, the majority of my guide trips, people just want to catch fish. They want to go fishing. They want to be out on the lake, see this everything that's going on, and you know, 99% of them, it's been a good time. I've only had maybe a couple of trips where they were just really, really disappointed because the fish weren't biting or we were catching small fish. And no fishing guide is going to admit that. You know, he'd say, "Oh, they don't. There's times where they don't catch fish. Let's book this guy who is showing that he's catching fish every single day." Which striper guides are bad at doing that. I actually forgot to talk about that. You know, that striper picture? Well, you know, I've known a few striper guides, and they have stolen pictures from other striper guides to post, to make sure they post every day, or they will take and change out the background to make it look like that fish was caught today from one that was caught last year, and now they don't even have to catch or use fish that they've caught to make pictures. They just have to go to AI and make pictures now, post them every day, and skunk people 5 days in a row. Because I had one that was bragging to me. They were making $700 a day. Skunk, 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 skunk. 5 times $700. I'll let you guys do that math. 1 week, 1 work week, not catching a single fish at $700 a day. And they were posting the fish are biting every single day. Striper, striper, striper. They were just pulling from past pictures. They'd change the backgrounds, do whatever. And now with AI, well, not Grok, but if they've got a paid AI, unlimited striper pictures. But yeah, that's our reality now, and I don't know. We get to see what happens in the future. Thanks again for watching. I hope to see you next time.